Hello Internet, Loki here. Today I want to represent you this special newspaper called the Revia D. It is actually a popular newspaper from, as you can see, 2010. Of course, this was a newspaper from the Montenegro, and here it says it's an interview about with Master William Cheung, who was actually a Bruce Lee mentor. And this interview is basically lost because it doesn't exist on the internet, because the official website of this newspaper is so as you can see here, it say the master of Bruce Lee, undefeated William Cheung, over this newspaper Revia challenge indestructible Chuck Norris to the fight, and there show page of the famous magazine in the past, Kung Fu, where he was giving his interview before, and many interesting things from this his life. Of course, here is the photo of him and Bruce Lee from the younger days, and here also it said a lot of interesting things, like from this part, which actually means the game of death. Where William Cheung talk about what was the last time when he actually heard with Bruce Lee. He say this: the last time when I talk about with Bruce Lee was over a phone, when he was making the movie called The Game of Death. That movie was never done. Of course, it was a fact. Also, Cheung say that Bruce Lee health was really bad at that time, and he could notice that even from the period of the making the Enter of Dragon. As he say, of course he was incredibly fit martial artist. He have many records, and he was really fast, and he talked about his famous feats, like when he would do two-finger push which is even hard for the push-up, but back to the interview, which was Bruce Lee very famous for, because he do it challenging Chuck Norris basically very easy, in even though it is next year incredibly hard, even for the pro, Chuck Norris put $100 million. He can put his own boat or house. I'm going to get the money for the fight, and I will beat him anywhere in the world, but I would like to that happen here in the Montenegro. That is what for the Chuck Norris say William Cheung, and it said something very interesting here. He claimed how Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris have a fight in which Chuck Norris, they even put his picture here, lost in 27 seconds. That is very interesting for me, because in any interview where he talk about fighting with Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris would skip those things. He will be like, well, we didn't want to go there, but here it clears theory that he was beaten in 27 seconds, knockout by my student and friend Bruce Lee. And today it's the great challenge to me, but I think I can win him. So at this part of the interview, they say in this martial arts, they think on the Wing Chun Kung Fu, William Cheung was able with 8.3 punch in a single, basically they say he's capable of throwing 8.3 punch in a single second, and he created that world record in 1984, which basically nobody ever was able to reach. Also, the part of the interview that I find personally very interesting in this, where he talk about way that Bruce Lee trained. For instance, he say he constantly practiced and he never wanted to go to the next level of the training until he completely doesn't have mastery over the last one. He never give up, and he would repeat the technique so many times that eventually he will do them perfectly. Also, over the older student, it would cause how to say that, the jealousy. Yes, that is the word. I don't speak English very good, so I'm translate this best I can do, of course. And it say the older student wanted to get him out because the Chinese people of the time were really racist, and they hated Bruce Lee because he had the lightest skin. Uh, that is because he had 14 of the German blood in the self, because Bruce Lee grandma was German, so his mother was half German. It's said by uh, the Cheung, and also he say in the part here, uh, there was the time when Bruce Lee take the nunchuck first time in his life. He was so good with them that he could actually play the ping pong. So there is this. I remember this video on the YouTube, and a lot of time I would find them, where it shows Bruce Lee actually playing the table tennis with, or how do you say it, ping pong, whatsoever. I can't speak English. uh, Playing with nunchucks, and people start a debate: is that video real or not? So maybe that video alone is part of the commercial only. I don't know exactly, but as you can see here, he actually could do that, as they make in that commercial. So it's not so much unrealistic. Also, one interesting part of the interview, let's say, then one time they were attacked by a banda, which means gang, uh, and him and Bruce Lee together, they fight them and they defeat them. And I found that very interesting, because in fact the real reason why Bruce Lee go to United States at the first place, because it was literally have to save his own life, because he was constantly in the fight with the gangs who, as he also mentioned in his interview here, they wanted to have Bruce Lee at their own gang, because he was basically a movie star at that period. His father was the big actor, and Bruce Lee was in the many movie. And of course, Gangster Clan wanted to have them, Bruce Lee in the his own parts, to have doing dirty jobs for them. But Master William Cheung, as he say also here, I'm raised to fight against them, because my father was the commander of the local police station and detective, and he worked against the criminal. I instinctively wanted to be to watch over Bruce and to protect him, as say William Cheung. Also, I would find this part very interesting, because he again talk about the fight that Bruce Lee had with Chuck Norris, and he was able to defeat Chuck Norris. It take only 27 seconds to knock him out. Uh, Also here, it was the challenge match. Who was actually better than those two? At the time, Chuck Norris was the boxer champion, and he was also a karate champion of the United States. And in the tournament, there were also the fighters like Michael Stone or John Lewis. Uh, they also know the form of kickboxing, but Bruce Lee defeated them easily. When he knocked out Chuck Norris, he was so surprised that he even asked him to become his master, and Bruce Lee agreed with that. And also um, uh, they were later making a movie together. I remember the one interesting story when uh, Bruce Lee called Chuck Norris out and say we must make movie The Way of the Dragon at the time, and he say Chuck Norris say who win in that fight, and Bruce Lee say well of course me, and he say whoa whoa whoa, because at that point Chuck Norris was the world martial arts champion. You want to have a movie where you beat a professional martial artist, a champion, and Bruce say no no no, I want a movie where I kill a martial art artist and the champion, which was one of the most interesting story to me. So as you can see here, he's the master William Cheung, and he have a little sparring match with Master Vucko Jovovic, who was owner of the martial arts Wing Chun Kung Fu Club in the Belgrade. And here it says when he demonstrated his 1-inch punch on me, I have 96 kilogram and I'm bigger than him basically, and my feet basically fly away to the air after he punched me, and I go all the way to the other side of the room, as he say for after William Cheung demonstrate his incredible 1-inch punch and enormous strength. Also, the very interesting part of the interview to me was when he talked about the fight with, of course, the word here banned, gang. He have the fight against a gang on the boat on which he traveled, and at that time he was stabbed in the back, and even today he has enormous scar, and he show several battle scar that he have from the knives in the many fights that he have against the gangs, because at that time of the China was basically very dangerous place, and the many gang were here, and martial arts masters constantly get into a fight with them. That is why it make Wing Chun Kung Fu so incredible, because it actually help you in the real life death situation, not doing all these fancy movements or just going one-on-one combat in professional martial arts and so on. And he didn't talk only about the fighting, he talked about the medicine. As he say here, I am the teacher of the Mediterranean therapy. It is basically a science about the meridian of the human body, which is written in the all ancient scrolls, combined with basically Western medicine. As Cheung say, there is over 750 dots and 32 of channels which connect all those dots and make the flow in the body system of energy. That is something very often you can see in the martial arts, like chi or chakra or prana or mana. It have many names, and there are some suggestion that actually exist. Also, what is interesting here, say if you at the certain part with certain strength touch those dots, you can change the flow of the energy of the human body. In that way you can take down human, KO him, or even kill him. Those 700 dots are used in the martial arts to make a pain to the opponent or even eventually kill him, but you can also use them to heal him. As we know, the man who is poisoned by the snakes, he used the antidote for that poison, which is basically chemically change poison, because as we know, poison of the snake is usually used in a chemistry to make the antidote for the poison itself. So our defense mechanism is constantly in the fight against the cancer cells, and cancer take over the body only when our immune system became weak. So immunity, or as I say, the flow of the energy, you must constantly make stronger, as William Cheung saying that he was called a lot of time in the United States or in Turkey when people have discovered the cancer cells. So he will go there to help them to return balance in the body, creating a new immune system, and in that way they can defeat the cancer cells. So this was last interview with the great master, and I wanted to put it on the internet so everyone could see that there is a lot of the historical things that possibly happened, but they are not on the internet, they are not on the official database that could be for the audience, because they get lost, like the website of the Revia there, who got shut down, and we now most of people doesn't know that this kind of interview even happened. So I want to say that this show the great opportunity for all, because of magic of the internet. Now everyone could show some data that would never be there for the public, but thanks to the internet now I can show them. Of course, that would be pretty much all I could say. I mean, I cannot show the entire interview because it's very long, and this video alone became very long, so I just show you the most interesting parts. So that would be all that I want to say. I hope you like this video, hope you learned something. See you next time. Welcome.